So hi Tracy. It's
Hi,
been
Daniel.
I've been hearing a lot of good things from you from Mary Jennings.
Oh, yes, she's a good friend, great artist. Absolutely. I'm very thankful that she's speaking good things about me.
So how did you guys get together doing songs together?
So let's see. I met Mary shortly after I moved to Nashville. We met at an open mic here locally, and because at the time, there was a vibrant open mic circuit, and you would see the same people at different open mics and stuff. So we kept seeing each other, and then I think had a mutual appreciation for each other's music. And then after several months, just sort of like, this is ridiculous. We should introduce each other, introduce ourselves.
Hmm.
And so we kind of grew a friendship from there. And then, only more recently in the last couple of years have started writing together. So we've written about 3 songs, I think, together. And one of them, the most recent one, is actually on my new EP, Only Up From Here. So yeah, it's been a very fruitful friendship and musically as well.
Yeah, she's a talented girl.
Indeed. Yes.
Um so so like how did you get into doing music?
Well, I had always been a performer since a young age, mostly like singing and dancing. And I did show choir in high school. I was in a competitive a cappella group in college. And so I'd always been in the performance circuit and pursued some musical theater in New York after college. But I got a later start to songwriting and playing guitar and things like that. And that was um, really born out of what I thought was a singer showcase that I had auditioned for in New York. That turned out to be a
Hmm.
songwriting workshop. And it was my first experience like writing and then like recording a song that I had written with, a producer and composer. And so I kind of just like fell in love with that process and with that. And so when we moved from New York back to LA, I just kind of took a deep dive into songwriting and workshops and just tried to learn and absorb as much as I could and work on on it starting at that point. So and then just kind of has grown from there. And yeah, here I am.
Well, I'm so excited to have you on here and doing this interview with you. Um
Thank you.
So, like, do you have any do you have a specific how like do you have a favorite song that you've written for this new
Ooh.
record?
For the EP, a favorite song. Oh, that's hard. For this particular EP, it's called The Clearing, and the title track is also called The Clearing. Um, I would say, I think my favorite song is probably, God, no, I love them all for different reasons. Or it's a very personal EP, and so each song kind of speaks to a different aspect of something that I've been going
Yeah.
through or, continue to go through, and that um or particular emotion that I really want to other people to connect with. So like the song Poison in the Water, for example, is very personal because it's about a relationship with a loved one that has had a lot of stressors, in the last decade or so, that I was really trying to process my perspective on that relationship. And so that was the song I chose to be the single for the EP. And it's a very, personal song for me. And then my song Champion as well is just really rooted in trying to achieve something greater that you want so much to do, but running the race to get there is very depleting and can be very daunting and heavy. And the feeling of trying to be everywhere and be everything for everybody and still pursue your own dreams. I was really living that as I was writing that. So that also, I feel like, was well conveyed in the song, and I'm really proud of that. So I think each song has its own connection to me and a circumstance in my life that I'm going through or have gone through. So for that reason, it's hard to choose a favorite on that one.
So
It's like having children. You can't have a favorite. You have to love them all equally.
yeah. That's true. That's true. So is the song that you wrote with Mary, is it going to be on your EP?
It is on the EP. Yeah. It's called Only Up From Here. It's the last song on the EP. And it's, it's out. So you can listen to it. You can download it and stream it and all the things. Yeah. So it's different. It's one of those songs that kind of catches you off guard and kind of is unexpected. And there's some fun moments and tidbits, and it kind of takes you on like a wild journey. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
I'm releasing a new song, so I understand.
Oh,
I
yeah.
understand.
What's it called?
It's called Friendship. I have a full length album on Apple, but it's just I did it all through college, but now I just want to do my own style of music. I've been just writing and writing, and just all these songs are on my phone. I just need to get them out. So I'm releasing this.
Yes.
So I'm just releasing this new song called Friendship, and it's about friendship because I have a couple of friends that pass away, and how it's in some of the stories that been like that, and they were bad stories, so I kind of, just kind of wrote it down and just put it down and recorded it. But it sounds good, and so, and I'm going to release it on July the 5th, so it's all there. And
congratulations! That's coming up. That's very soon.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
It's not easy to see it through, right? It's not easy to see a project or a song through to that level. So you have to pat yourself on the back.
Sure. Thanks. So what inspired you to write this album?
So it's interesting. After the release of my first EP called Providence, back in, I think it was 2012, this idea, just like the phrase "a clearing," popped into my head, and I didn't know why. I hadn't written a song called "The Clearing," and it just felt very strongly, though, that was going to be the theme or the title of like my next project. And it took a while. It took me 12 years to get to my to get to this next body of work, releasing this next body of work. But I guess about 6 or 7 years ago, I actually wrote the song "The Clearing." And I feel like, what the message of the song was relevant at the time that I wrote it. And I feel like it's still relevant for the journey I'm on now. And when I decided to really see this project through. And so it was really inspired by just me wanting to get out of my own way and just do the thing already, and giving myself permission to invest in what I want, invest in my own dreams, and invest in myself. And just kind of get out of the clutter in my head that says all the reasons I shouldn't or can't do something, and just go ahead and do the thing already, and get to a place where I, am fully committed to that. So.
Who would you want to go on tour with if you got the chance to?
Oh my gosh, Daniel, that's a loaded question. Let's see. So, so Patty Griffin is a very big influence and on my music, and her music first really inspired me to want to write music and be a songwriter. So she would be definitely at the top of the list. I think also Brandi Carlile would be fun. Sarah Bareilles would be fun. I think Joy Oladikin would be fun. Let's see who else. There's such a long list. Reba McEntire, because I just love Reba. She was the first concert I ever went to, and she just seems like a hoot and a holler, and I think it would be delightful.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could go on. There's a lot for sure. Janet Jackson, but that's definitely not in my genre. I just like secretly just want to be a backup dancer. My whole life, I've just wanted to be a Janet Jackson backup dancer. So it would be fun for that reason if I could be a backup dancer, but I'm miles away from that dream coming true.
Well, you never know. Never know.
Yeah. Well, my body is this point going to tell me probably not. My head could say yes, but my knees will be like, no, girl.
Well, I guess if they opened up for you, I guess. I mean,
maybe. Yeah.
That's something.
Who would you want to go on tour with?
Oh, well, there is a guy in LA called Brad Bird. He's like a acoustic indie feel. He's very popular. And I've interviewed him a couple of times, and got to see him live when I was in Delaware at the time.
Nice.
So it felt like I brought him to Delaware at the play show. So that was kind of fun. And that's how I got to see Mary Jennings for the first time.
Okay.
And
in Delaware?
Yeah, she came to Dewey Beach neat. at one point. So that was my first show, seeing her play live.
I love it. She's so good live. I mean, she just, she takes it to another level.
Yeah. Who's your big influence?
Yeah, so I was raised on a lot of country music, actually, in the 80s and 90s. And so, like I said, my first concert I ever went to was, I was 9 years old. It was Reba McEntire. And my mom listened to like the Judds a lot, and Alabama and the Oak Ridge Boys. And so I just remember there always being a lot of country music playing, but also a lot of Motown. And then my brother, who's 9 years older than me, was into like rap music. So, so those are like my early influences in those realms. And again, like I wanted to be Janet Jackson. I was obsessed with her. I just was very like, I thought I was in the wrong family. Like I must have been adopted out of the Jacksons. And so those are a lot of my influences were in those genres. And then when I got into college, I went to college on the East Coast, and I had, a lot of exposure to some new kinds of music, like the Indigo Girls and Annie DeFranco. And I was in an a cappella group, and we covered like Bare Naked Ladies and Weezer and all different types of artists. And so I just feel like that's when I kind of got into the more like indie rock, indie folk, Americana type of singer-songwriter type of genre was really growing and popular. Dave Matthews Band and things like that at the time. And so like a lot of those artists out of that era kind of, and that's actually also the era when I discovered Patty Griffin. That's kind of what influences a lot of my music now, but with that foundation of, the country songwriting and storytelling and harmonies, and that just connection with, meaningful, emotional music for me is very strong. So
is it hard for you to write a song, to get it out?
It depends. There's some things that just seem to like fall out of me, sometimes. And there are other songs I've written where I just get to a certain point and like I hit a wall and I cannot see through it. And sometimes that's when I will connect with a co-writer, and just to kind of be a sounding board, or just have someone else in the room to kind of open up a new vocabulary of things that, directions that the song could go, or whatnot. And so that's often how I've finished songs that I hit a wall with. And there are some songs that like I just chip away at over years, honestly, that I kind of believe in. I just haven't really figured out what my perspective is yet. Like I kind of know what I'm trying to say, but I haven't actually like gotten clarity on how I feel or how I feel about it or what I want to say when I'm trying to write it. So, and some don't see the light of day and others, you know, see great bright sunlight. So, I think it just really depends on, if I finished it and how I feel about it. And sometimes I'll play it out and I just feel like it's not working and I can't quite figure out why. I may put it away for a while and then, you know, bring it back and try to work through it. But, so sometimes, yeah, it can be super easy and it feels like the universe just opened up and dropped it in my lap. And other times it feels much more labor intensive. And sometimes just more emotional. It depends on what the song is about, but sometimes it's like, ooh, I really got to like sit with this for a minute. And am I brave enough to write this song and say what I need to say in it, honestly, or not? So that
Yeah.
could be the hardest part.
Is it is it like tough to look for somebody to work with though? So I'm always still trying to find
That's a good
different people to
question.
work with, but I never find it the right
Um,
person.
I think it can be. I think I've been lucky in my co-writes, so far for the most part. I feel like a lot of times they've been first time co-writes with people, um, and they've gone really well. I would say that out of the 5 songs on my EP, um, 4 of them are co-writes, and all of the 4 were maybe except for Mary. So 3 of those 4 were first time co-writes. I'd never written with those people before, but I had this idea that they also either connected with or just really understood the track that I was on with it, and it clicked. So I feel like I got really lucky. Other times I've written songs with people that like just it wasn't a connection at all, and we haven't written before. I kind of liken it to dating in a way where you're trying to find the right partner,
Yeah.
you know, and it can feel awkward and it can feel, ooh, do they like me? Is this going well? Or I'm not really into them, or how do I get out of this? Or, you know, it was nice and we had a good time, but I don't think we're going to go on a second date. Or, oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with you. How
Yeah.
fast can we do this again? You know, like
Yeah.
I liken it a lot to dating. So, and yeah, I think it can take time to find the people that you really want to be in the room again with and that you
Yeah.
trust and that you feel like you can really be vulnerable and bring your best ideas to. And sometimes you don't want to give up those best ideas yet or at all because you're not sure there's going to be a follow-up situation. And so I think sometimes I've reserved and held back things that I feel like, I'm going to wait on that and just, you know, make sure either is this person someone that I want to go down that road with or isn't it, you know?
Do you have any shows that in Nashville coming up at anytime soon?
Yeah, I have a couple of things going on. I'm just doing this coming Tuesday, I'm gonna do a writer's round at the Writer's Kitchen, which is at Jane's Hideaway in East Nashville. So that's at 8 o'clock. And then so what's that? June 25th. And then actually there's an interesting performance coming up. So my husband and I are on the board of a local dance collective and called the Dance East Collective. And so he is a dancer and choreographer, and so he's actually choreographing a piece for the dance company to my song Champion that's on my EP. And so on July 15th, they're going to perform it. And then myself and my co-writer, Kara, are going to perform live while the dancers are dancing, which I think is brilliant.
That's
And
really
I've never done
neat.
that kind of thing before. Yeah. So, so that's exciting coming up. And then I think I'm at Bowery Vault like in July 24th. And then I'm going to be going out on sort of a mini tour up and down a bit of the East Coast in early August. So I'll be putting out, I'm still fine tuning some details on a couple of dates, but I'll be putting out information on my socials and stuff about that as well. I'll be
Is
going
that
through
your first?
Roanoke and Pittsburgh and Massachusetts.
Is that your like the your first time going on tour?
Yeah, in this kind of way. Yeah, for sure. Where it's like multiple cities and multiple dates kind of all in one swoop for sure. So I'm excited.
That's exciting for a first tour and doing. Are you booking all of the shows by yourself, or you have a team working with you?
No, I have no team. So the tour is going to be myself and another artist here. She's like a blues rock artist. Her name is Lauren Anderson. And so the catalyst for kind of booking this tour is there's a friend of mine and a great artist, Rebecca Correa, who has an annual concert series that she puts on in Rochester, Massachusetts every year. And so she invited myself and Lauren to play at that concert series. And so we just kind of been crafting some other performances around that date. And so, like, we booked a house concert on the way up in Roanoke. And then we have, Lauren had already had a standing booking in Pittsburgh the night before the concert series, and she was just able to add me onto that. So we have that going on, and then we're going to be booking a couple of things, hopefully for on the way back as well. So it's just us emailing and connecting with people and working it out. Neither of us work with a booking person at all.
How um is there like a favorite venue you like to use in Nashville?
Yeah, I mean, there are two that I really like. One is called Music Maker Stage. It's in East Nashville, and it's owned by and run by the Delgado family, who owns Delgado Guitars, and it's sort of right next to their guitar shop. And it's this great kind of semi-acoustic vibe. It's a smaller venue, but it has a really nice energy, nice vibe in there. It can hold maybe like 40 people or so. But they do something I think is unique, where you have about an hour or so, and you play half a set, and then they do a live stream. They live stream the whole thing, but they do like a live interview with you halfway through your set, and then you play the rest of your songs, and then you can live stream it, or they live stream it so people can watch from afar. And it's just a really nice community of artists that come through there, and they're just a really good venue, nice and welcoming and easy going and just easy to work with. So, and then another one that I love is also in East Nashville, is called the Bowery Vault. And that one, again, is small and vibey. It has a New York vibe. The owners are from New York, and it just feels like you're like in the West Village or something, at a cool venue. And again, has a fantastic community around it, whereby people just know there's going to be great music coming through there, and they just show up to like see who's playing. And or you can have a ticketed event as well. And so I've played there in the last year and a half fairly often. So again, good people, well run, always a good night. So those are kind of my top two of places here locally that I like to play.
Well, that sounds fun. Hearing doing like having the interview and then you get to play and do it live or whatever. It sounds like a great time being in Nashville, going to see shows. I need to get down there. That's the only thing I need to do is go and come to Nashville, see a lot of cool
Yeah.
people. The last time I was in Nashville, it was when I was on a mission trip with my church. That was years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's
Okay.
just like I need to get down there just to see the music. So I know they have great music
Yeah.
down there, and
All year long. So there's never a bad time.
yeah, I mean
Unless it's an ice storm. Then it's the like 1 week a year that we get like, enough snow where nobody goes anywhere.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
That's not the greatest, but
but I mean, Kansas City had some great talent here too, but um, I'm very excited because I booked a benefit concert here in Kansas City, and
Nice.
I'm very excited because I booked the whole event. I have a charity. The Music Foundation is going to be working with me, and I have three
Great.
amazing bands that are playing. Two jazz
Yeah.
bands and a indie bands that I really love. So
Good. Yeah, Kansas City is on my list. I'd love to I guess that's come up there and um explore that as well. So it's actually on my list to kind of do a couple of shows um up in Kansas City. I know a few people up there. So I feel like, and it's not that far from Nashville. Like it's a pretty
no,
easy
no,
peasy drive,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah. It's nice.
um
I love it here. I mean, it's just a good place to be. I guess you have all the music here. You have the blues and your jazz. Um, I do
yeah.
love. I do love when I'm like at a show. I like to go to the record bar because
Mhm.
um, it's more it's good for everybody. I mean, there's no stairs, so because it's kind of hard for me to look for places because I'm in the wheelchair, so it's kind of tough
Mm.
looking for different
Mhm.
kinds of venues, and it's kind of hard trying to look for venues with wheelchair accessible here. But
Mhm.
hopefully, they can change that at one
Yeah.
point. But
Are there is there like an organization in your area that's working towards making that happen?
no, I think I should.
There you go.
Yeah. But but yeah, but do you have a favorite? Like I think I asked you this already, but do you have any other kind of cool things that are happening with your music, like getting on like a TV show or um
Ooh. I mean, that would be great. Not at the moment, but that's something that definitely working towards, and that's one of the goals with this EP and a way to put it out there for sure. So right now, 'cause it's been out about 3 months now, so I've just been trying to play as many live shows as possible, and just kind of get around and kind of create or expand audience outside of Nashville as well. So, which is why I'm, grateful for this tour. I was in Roanoke a couple months ago, played a few shows there, which went really well. And so just trying to spread the word as much as possible. And then kind of going forward, making those kinds of plans for, 2025, as I kind of grow this thing and hopefully get some new music out next year as well. So I'm sort of already have some ideas budding about what will be next. So
well, that's exciting. Um there is there's was some ideas I was thinking of, like who does like your artwork for like your singles or your full length album or an EP.
that was
So
all me. Yeah, that was all me. I am yeah, definitely, I'm an indie artist, so that is mostly on me. I have very talented friends that helped in the way of like photography, so like the photographs and a lot of my promo photos were a friend of mine's a professional photographer, and I was able to have a photo shoot with him. His name's Will DeShazer. He's amazing. um and but yeah, as far as putting it all together and the artwork and stuff, that was me. My husband, he offered to help. He's does graphic design among many other things, but I sort of had this like, oh, like I want to give it a go. I want to take ownership over this and everything. So I'm sure it would have taken him a weekend where it took me months. But,
Yeah.
but all my merch, everything in my merch I designed, the candles that I make and my merch, I make them, I hand make my candles
Oh,
and
that's
the labels
cool.
I made. And yeah, so everything is very, which I feel really proud of myself. This, not all of this is necessarily my wheelhouse, um, but I felt that I really wanted to take ownership over all of it, right? At least at this point in time. I can't say that I want to do that forever because it's not efficient use of my
No,
time
yeah,
always.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I'd rather write more songs and record more music and rehearse for more performances. But right now, it's all me. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of cool that your husband is gonna take the take your song and make it a dance. That's kind of incredible.
Yeah, I mean, he's an artist. He is a visual artist. He's a jewelry artist. He's always very generous with offering to help me in those visual artistic endeavors. I couldn't draw a stick figure that you could recognize. Like, I'm terrible um, at that kind of thing. But it comes naturally to him, and then I have talents in other ways that he may not. So it's a good
Yeah.
match.
I mean, I'm talented in so many different ways. I have a cookie business. I do on the side.
Ooh.
Um, I do my own music. I also make jewelry as well. Um, but it's just something to do, and things I love to do is just create new things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think you should do more of that. I think everyone should do more of what brings them energy, what feeds their soul. There's enough of the other responsibilities that we have, right?
yeah,
So when you can get a little time to lean into something that really feeds your soul, I think it's life-giving. So,
I make safety pin bracelets.
oh, cool.
Yeah, I
Like
gave one
colored safety pins or silver ones?
silver ones.
Okay.
And the fun thing is this year it's going to be featured in my mom's friend's shop. All my bracelets, so that's something new. That I'm
Yeah, congrats.
very excited about, and I'm also going to do a little photo shoot with those new bracelets I made.
Nice.
So that's
Who's going to take the pictures?
I guess I will, because I do have a nice
Yeah.
camera. But um,
Yeah, I mean, you can do a lot with like iPhones these days.
mhm,
So, those have come a long way and are very portable. I used to have a really fancy digital camera. I still have it, but I haven't used it in years.
yeah,
Um, and I remember wanting it so badly and like, you know,
mhm,
but I haven't used it in years. And I feel like maybe I should go a little analog and get that. I mean, it's digital, but it's one of those big like Nikon with a big
mhm,
lens and stuff
yeah,
like that
yeah, yeah,
that the real photographers use and everything.
yeah.
Um, so I was thinking I need to get that thing out and go to a little bit analog.
I mean, it takes a lot of memory, but they're good, great photos to have because they're much
Hmm.
clearer. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, I might have to send you a bracelet so you can wear it on stage, or
sure.
and that would be fun.
Love that. That's very generous. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Um, do you have anything else you want to talk about?
I mean, I just really want, I mean, if anyone wants to, I have an email list people can sign up for on my website, traceeperrinmusic.com. And that will, you get a newsletter and it'll kind of keep you up to date on what's going on. Also, all of my shows, have a show calendar on my website as well. So if you want to see what I have coming up, I'm also, you can find me on bandsintown.com and social media is at Tracee Perrin Music. So would love to stay in touch and connected with new people and new audiences. And um, yeah, I'm just grateful to talk to you and talk to you, I guess, by way of talking to you, to your audience as well. And I hope that they connect with my music. I'd love to hear what people think and their feedback and stuff. So, um, yeah, thank you for the chat. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. And if you would like to send me a song or two, I would love to play on the podcast. And
Sure.
and yeah, well, thank you so much. And I'll talk to you later.
Okay, sounds good.